It's hard to really learn something until you experience it firsthand. The Dakota Venture Group is the first student-run venture capital investment fund in the nation. President of the organization, Alex Nasted, can provide insight on her experience as a student making investment choices. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And so yeah, like I said, the Dakota Venture Capital Group is the first completely student-run investment fund in the United States. Could you kind of explain what that is?
Yep, so basically we have startup companies apply to the group, and then they ask us for funding, and then we have them come in and present to us, and if we decide that we think it's a viable option, then we'll invest money from our fund into the business and hopefully see a return in years down the road.
All right, so you're a member of the group. What is your role?
Well, I'm the president currently, and so I basically just oversee everything. Right now we're in the process of organizing a second fund, so there's a lot of fundraising that goes on, going out and meeting with different people, and overseeing everyone in the group if anyone has any questions about anything or their roles, and making sure everyone stays on task.
All right, so you're investing money, in real companies as a student. That seems kind of scary.
It is a little bit. I remember the first deal that we looked at, I thought, oh my gosh, this is a real company and this is real money that we're investing. What if we lose it? But you just kind of get used to it, and it just becomes your day-to-day, and as you look at more companies, you become really comfortable with the process.
What is the process as a student that you go through when deciding whether to invest in a company or not?
We look at some different parameters. We look at where the company is based out of, the size of the company, the valuation, how much money they're looking to raise, what the product is, if we think it has a viable market or not.
So this is a group of students. What kind of people are involved in this organization?
We have students from mostly the business school, but we also have students from the engineering school. We have law students. We're looking for some students from the med school. So it's a nice, diverse group.
So you have this nonprofit fund called the Evergreen Fund. Are there any other developments that DVG is looking at making in the future?
Yep, so right now we're in the process of organizing a second fund called the Harvest Fund, and this would be a for-profit fund, which has actually never been done by students before, so it would be the first time in the nation, again.
Okay, what is the difference? Could you kind of explain the difference between this new fund that you're developing versus the nonprofit one?
Yep, so with the Evergreen Fund, when we make an investment, if we see a return on our investment, we put it back into the fund and we'll reinvest it again in the future. But with this for-profit fund, we go out and meet with different investors, and they give us their money, and then we take that money and invest it for them. And then once we see a return on the investment, then we give the money back to the investors.
Okay, so you're investing in these companies. How do they hear about you? How do they apply for this funding?
There's a lot of networking in the area. There are a lot of different angel groups in Grand Forks, Fargo, Fosston, and Wahpeton, so we pass deal flow back and forth. But then we also use a website called Gust that a lot of entrepreneurs know about, and they can apply through the group that way.
So as a member of DVG, you take part in some real business choices. What is the pressure, as a student in investing in these real businesses?
Well, I think that once you do invest, and you're really required to help out these companies, and you really want them to succeed. So meeting with these different individuals and helping them guide their company along, and looking at the valuations of the company and all of these different aspects to it, and helping them with what's the best marketing approach for them. And it's really great to be able to use these hands-on experiences in the real world.
Do you ever feel like you're not qualified to make these type of decisions?
Yeah, at first I did, but I think that since I started the group and to now, I've learned so much that now I feel much more qualified and I feel much more comfortable with making decisions like that. But at first I was quite nervous.
What are some things yourself and others do to prepare yourself for these big decisions?
I think just we have like I said, a great network in the area, and so we can go and meet with these different professionals that really know certain industries really well. If somebody's coming in for, say, a biomedical device, which I wouldn't know much about, we can go out and meet with different people and ask for their opinions, people that really know what these products would be doing and if it was a good choice for an investment or not.
So you have a relationship with these, real companies. Is it, different? Do they treat you any differently from the fact that you guys are students?
They don't, and that was really refreshing and surprising for me. I thought maybe that they would because we are students, but we are investing real money just like any other investor that they have, so we're not treated like students at all.
That's great. What do you get out of this group personally?
I've learned so much on investment and private equity, venture capital, that whole aspect, because I wasn't a finance major for undergrad and I'm a business student now, but you only touch on finance, and this is being able to really delve into things and learn the ins and outs of venture capital and private equity.
You know, how does this group you're learning hands-on experience, how does this group benefit students, when they go out and get their future careers?
Well, when you go in your interview, you can say, I have actual experience doing this. I didn't just learn this in the classroom. I've done this, and I can show you the investment decisions that I've made. We've seen all these different returns on them. And I think also the networking aspect of it, too. We're meeting so many different business professionals in the area, so you have a really great network set up for you when you graduate.
All right, thanks so much for being on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.